Hello everyone, welcome to Everything Arsenal, back with another live show as always every weekday. Again today, a lot to discuss, including the latest on Gyokeres, the latest on Mosquera, the latest on Eberechi Eze. He might just have confirmed that he's going to be moving to Arsenal, and there's breaking news on Alexander Isak today as well, so it's going to be interesting. So I've put a poll on YouTube if you're watching live, and the question for today is, how many more signings do you think we need after Gyokeres? So after Gyokeres, it's going to be 6 signings, but how many more are we going to need after that? If you're watching on a different platform, just comment down below how many more signings you think we need after Gyokeres. And if you're watching this on repeat, you can also comment and we'll discuss about it later. So let's get started. Another busy day. We played our first game yesterday. 3 more days before we play our next game against Newcastle. Going to be very interesting. Now, Mosquera. What's the latest on Mosquera? For me, I actually expected Mosquera to be signed last week, or to actually travel with the rest of the team over the weekend to Singapore, but it didn't happen. There was a bit of delay with his paperwork, but Hand of Arsenal says there is expectation that Cristhian Mosquera will be announced as an Arsenal player today. So I was thinking, because Arsenal are currently in Singapore, different time zone and everything. Right now it's night time in Singapore. I thought they wouldn't announce him this late, but it looks like there's still a chance they could announce him today. Now, it's weird because he's already trained with the team, he's already been part of the team, but he hasn't really been announced as an Arsenal player yet. You might actually see Mosquera playing for Arsenal before he's actually announced as an Arsenal player, which will be very interesting. But we definitely need a defender. Especially yesterday, we saw there's still a couple of defenders who are out with injuries, and we had to it was great to see players like Salmon and Josh Nichols, but obviously the rest of the preseason, you don't want to be using 15-year-olds every single game. You want the players who are going to be featuring in every single Premier League game to be part of that, and we'll need backups for these players. So for Cristhian Mosquera, for me, I absolutely love that deal. I think it's 13 million plus add-ons. I think that is a fantastic deal for Cristhian Mosquera. So the only thing we are waiting for now is for him to get announced. Now, interesting, he's been spotted today with the rest of the Arsenal team. This is a fan who took a picture today. As you can see, Mosquera is already an Arsenal player, but we've not announced him. So this is a fan in Singapore who took a picture with Kepa, Raya, Zubimendi, and also Mosquera. So basically the Spanish contingent. Hopefully they all settle in very well. Hopefully Kepa and Raya can help the other two to settle in England. But yeah, it's very interesting that the player is already hanging out with the rest of the Arsenal squad, but he's not been announced yet. So I don't know what the delay is for, but I would expect Mosquera to make his debut over the weekend against Newcastle, and it will be very interesting to see what is going to come on for Saliba. Or is he going to start? Saliba comes on. Is he going to play next to Saliba? All those ones are possible. So very happy that we have more backup in terms of defenders. We have very good defenders. If every defender at Arsenal was fit, we wouldn't really need to buy any defender. But I also wanted Arsenal to buy a defender because of the injuries. We don't want Saliba to be playing 60 games and Gabriel to be playing 60 games. We can't find ourselves in that position again. So that is the latest. Mosquera will be announced soon, so let's wait and see what time he will be announced. Now, obviously, it's very important as well because Arteta confirmed this earlier today that Julian Timber is still not there. He's not fully trained yet with us, and Gabriel Magalhaes had a little niggle the other day in training, and because of the fact that he's out for so long as well, we have to manage him. So that is something we have to do well and carefully. I mean, we've been in Spain, different pitch, different conditions, go to the UK, different ones come here, and there are a lot of changes, so we have to minimize the risk with him. So with Arteta confirming that Timber is not there yet, and Gabriel had a little niggle, we can't risk any of them. I'm very happy not to see Gabriel and Timber in the Asian tour. Just let them train, and you don't have to play them maybe 10 minutes in one of the games. But considering you're playing against Newcastle and Tottenham, high-intensity games, I don't see any need of playing Gabriel and Timber. To be honest, if they're not ready, no need. Let them wait for the Emirates Cup and those other games and get ready. So that is why that's another reason I do not want to sell Kivio, because it doesn't look like Gabriel is going to be 100% ready for that game against Man United in the first Premier League game on 17th. We cannot be selling players like Kivio right now. So at the moment, without Gabriel, without Timber, and obviously with Tierney having been sold, how many defenders do we have right now? We have Lewis Skelly and Calafiori as the left backs. Calafiori is being needed to play at centre back because Gabriel's not there. And then we have Kivio, that's 3. We have Saliba, that's 4. We have Ben White, that's 5. And now we have Mosquera, so that is great that we have Mosquera now, because Ben White could have maybe helped out Saliba at centre back, but he can't now because Timber is out at right back. So left back we're okay, but Kiv is going to be needed to play, and we might need Mosquera to start, because I don't want Saliba to play every single game as well. We might need Mosquera to start one of these coming games. So protect Gabriel and Timber. No need to rush them. The last thing we need is to lose Gabriel again. The last thing we need is for Timber to be overplayed again like last season. So take time with them, and then let's see how they recover. Play Mosquera over the weekend. Keep Kivio for sure. Lewis Kelly did not start against AC Milan. We can start him next time. Ben White looked very good against AC Milan too. So Mosquera, welcome to Arsenal very soon. He might be announced today, and then we'll do a welcome video on him. Now, that is Mosquera done. But who is next? Now, Gyökeres, believe it or not, Viktor Gyökeres, we got the Here We Go on Tuesday, right? Sporting was still saying, wait, you cannot go for the medical yet. You need to finalize all these other signings and all this. You need to, complete all the paperwork. So Sporting actually did not allow Gyökeres to go for the medical yesterday. They said, no, you have to finalize all the signings. Sporting. I never want to work with Sporting again. So Sporting wanted us to finalize all the paperwork first before they give the green light to Gyökeres to go for a medical. So the medical was reported to be happening in Singapore on Wednesday. They reported that on Tuesday they reported it's going to be going for the medical to be done on Wednesday in Singapore. Now, since Sporting said no for the medical is going to actually take place in London tomorrow now. He's going to finalize his medical tomorrow in London. Now, I don't know if they changed that. I don't know if they decided for him not to travel to Singapore because it's already too late. It's already Thursday. Maybe just travel straight to Hong Kong to play against Tottenham. I don't know, because Sporting said no, he cannot go for the medical. But now they finally said yes. We can now finally say we are done with Sporting. We're never going to work with Sporting again. That is it. So Fabrizio reported this earlier today. Breaking Viktor Gyökeres' new Arsenal players. Every document has now been approved and exchanged. So some of these documents have to pass through court. According to what they say, it has to go through court, and all the documents have to be signed from both sides, fax machines and everything. Sporting send back because when they're signing the contracts, those guys are never in the same room. Sporting are in Portugal, Arsenal in England. The documents are sent back and forth until everything is completed, and you still have to wait for Sporting to say, yes, you can go for the medical. You cannot just go and do the medical without Sporting saying yes, because if Arsenal go and do the medical for Gyökeres without Sporting saying yes, that's more legal matters, that's more delay. There's absolutely no need. So he's finally going to come and do his medical, but it's going to be in London and not Singapore. So Fabrizio says Arsenal and Sporting completed the process with formal authorization to travel. Medical to start in the next 24 hours, which is Friday. So it was accurate when they say that the agent has arrived in London yesterday. His agent was in London yesterday once again, so he will be joining his agent tomorrow to finally become an Arsenal player. Actually, Fabrizio says he's already an Arsenal player. Everything has been signed. We can actually call Gyökeres an Arsenal player. It's just the medical that is going to be finalized tomorrow, and then we can finally stop thinking about Sporting and move on to finally having a striker. Man, if you watched the game yesterday against AC Milan, even Martinelli, who didn't really have a good game that much yesterday, Martinelli still passed his defender a couple of times and putting a cross into the box, but there was no one there. Saka did it like 3 times yesterday. He ran past his defender, he crossed the ball, there was no one there. Ben White did it once in the first half, crossed the ball, no one there. Even Havertz, who's supposed to be a striker, he was on the right wing and he actually put in a couple of very good crosses. I think one of them landed to Declan Rice and then it was blocked. But Havertz, who's supposed to be the striker, he's the one who's putting in the crosses as well. So we basically don't have a striker there. Even if Havertz was great as a striker, that is not really his position. You can see whenever he plays, he's the one who's making tackles in midfield. He's the one who's in the right wing crossing the ball, which leaves us with no one. So this guy will change our lives. Viktor Gyökeres will absolutely change our lives. All of a sudden, I can see Saka, Odegaard, Martinelli, all of them getting so many assists with Gyökeres there, because he's going to get at the end of those chances. And when Rice runs into the box as well to become basically like a second striker, we're going to have a lot of chances in that box, because Saka, Ben White, that combination is really good. Even when Timber comes back, he's great as well. And on the left side, when Calafiori plays as a left back, he runs and overlaps really well and he can put in crosses. Martinelli loves putting in crosses as well, but there's no one usually there. But someone is going to be there this time around. So I cannot wait for this guy to get started as an Arsenal player, coming soon, as Fabrizio has said there. Now, Sky Sports say that Viktor Gykeres is expected in London tomorrow to sort the final contractual details with Arsenal. It is thought the plan is for him to then join the squad in Singapore. So, as much as I said, maybe it might not be possible for him to go to Singapore because of time. Maybe he's going to do the medical tomorrow morning and then fly to Singapore. By that point, it's going to be night time in Singapore. Maybe he joins the rest of the team on Saturday morning. He can't play on the Sunday, though. Gykeres has not been playing football for the last 3 months because he's not been training. And then obviously he's not trained with Arsenal at all. And he'll need to gain some fitness. So he's not going to play against Newcastle. I don't think so. But he can be part of the team on that Sunday just to watch the rest of the team and hang out with the rest of the players as he continues to adapt. But if he travels to Singapore and joins the rest of the team by Saturday, that will be great. We can finally, call him an Arsenal player by that point. Now we can finally call him an Arsenal player, but at that point we can finally say, Gykeres has officially joined Arsenal. He's now going to be training with us, and then he's going to make his debut against Tottenham. That will be a lot of fun. I cannot wait for Gykeres to get started at Arsenal. I literally cannot wait to see this celebration in Arsenal shirt. I cannot wait, man. I cannot wait for this guy to get started at Arsenal. Now, that's the latest on Gykeres. Welcome to Arsenal very, very soon. Now, today, Isak has asked to leave Newcastle today. He's told Newcastle, I want to leave. I do not know why he waited for Arsenal to sign Gykeres and for Liverpool to sign Ekitike before saying he wants to leave, or maybe that has pushed him. Now, I've seen some comments from Arsenal fans online. There's actually people who are saying, cancel the Gykeres medical and go for Isak. I think you're crazy if you're suggesting that. I think you're absolutely crazy if you're just, we always say everyone has their opinion. I think you're absolutely crazy if you say you want to cancel Gykeres to go for Isak right now. Now, for a lot of reasons. One, money. Gykeres is going to cost us 64 million. Isak is going to cost you 150 million. Now, if you can get both, oh, hell yes, bring both of them. I'll be very happy. If you can bring both of them, yes. But canceling Gykeres to bring Isak, no, you don't do that when you've been going for a striker for 2 months and prison has already started, and then you start again with Newcastle to do all the negotiations, and then what if it doesn't happen and Gykeres has joined the Man United by the time you go back for him? You can't do that. So Isak will cost you 150 million and Gykeres is costing you 63 million. That is almost triple the money that Gykeres has cost. Now, if Arsenal tell us today that we had 150 million, should we get Eze and Gykeres or should we get just Isak? I know what my answer would be. Very easy answer. And on top of that, anyway, if you go back to the last season's videos, when we were talking about Gykeres and Isak, which one should we choose? I was always going for Gykeres. So Gykeres has always been the striker I've always wanted since last year, even ahead of Isak. So some of you might decide to go for Isak, but I think that is absolutely crazy. If you talk about, cancel the Gykeres deal right now and go for Isak, forget about Gykeres because Isak has now become available. Now, even time-wise, you still have to negotiate with Newcastle again. We don't have time. We do not have time. If you have money to go for Isak after getting Gykeres, you can go and negotiate. No problem. You can go and try and make a bid. Absolutely no problem. Having two strikers, why not? Because Liverpool are going to try it for him. Now, eventually, personally for me, I don't know if he's going to join Liverpool because they've already signed Ekitike. Are they going to have two strikers? Are they going to play a 4-4-2? They've already signed Vats. If they sign all three of them, Liverpool are spending 400 million plus this transfer window, which is crazy. So we cannot just have Isak and no one else in our team. We have to sign players like Eze as well. So for me, if you are to ask me right now, spend that 150 million on Isak or get Gykeres and Eze and someone else. If you get Gykeres for 63 million and you get, let's say, Eze for 60 million, there's 30 million there. You can go and get a winger for 25, 30 million to help as a backup somewhere. I'd rather have those three players than having one. Now, there's other people who are saying Isak is injury prone, whatever. I don't personally think Isak is injury prone. He's had a few injuries here and there. I don't think he's injury prone. So that is not the reason why I'm not going to go for Isak. But I think it's crazy to say right now that forget about Gykeres and go for Isak because it's become available. Now, this is what the news is on Isak right now. Craig Hope was the first one to report. He said reported long-term Arsenal target Alexander Isak has informed Newcastle of his desire to explore a move away from the club. A move for Mikel Arteta's ideal striker could accelerate upon an offer in the region of 150 million. So, again, I've seen someone saying that Arsenal still have the budget to sign Isak after signing Gyökeres. That is very exciting to think about. But signing Isak would probably mean you don't sign Eze, you don't sign Rodrygo. I think we really need creativity as in the 8th position and the left wing. You can get 2 strikers, you're going to score more goals. Yes, it probably wins you the title. But we don't have creativity still, man. That means there's no Eze, there's no Rodrygo, no one else. Because if you sign both Isak and Gyökeres, it's a lot of money, though. If you can afford it, why not? I know people's fear is because you could go to a Liverpool. I know Liverpool and Man City have signed players. That is not usually my fear. My fear, I never usually look at it like, oh my God, Liverpool have signed Ekitike and Isak, we are in trouble. That is not how I look at it. For me, I look at it as, we have the best goalkeeper. We have the best defense out of all of those teams. Sort out yourselves. Get Gyokeres, get the extra number 10 that you need, get the winger that you need, and win your games. Forget about Man City, forget about Liverpool. We'll think about them when you play them home and away. You just need to win your games. Win your games. They're going to win more games, yes, but also win your games as well. Trust in the good defense that you have and also sort out your forward line. Even if Liverpool have Isak and Ekitike and you have your Gyokeres and you still have your Sak and you still have your whoever it's going to be, Rodrygo, whoever, Gyokeres, whoever it's going to be, just win your games. I think we usually focus a lot on the other teams. I don't usually focus a lot on the other teams. I know you have to keep up with what they're doing. So you can't just say, I'm not going to sign any players and watch Liverpool signing 5 players. That is not what I'm saying. I'm saying if Liverpool is going for a player, if Liverpool today say they want Vinicius, you can go for him, yes. But if Liverpool say they want this one and they want this one and they want this one and they want this one, we cannot also say we want that one and that one and that one and that one as well. They're going to sign their players. They're going to sign our players. Just go out there and win your games. That's all you need to do. Win your games and make sure they don't beat you home and away. That is it. That's what you need to do. So I would 100% want Isak. If the money is there, go and get him. But I am not saying forget about Gyokeres and then go for Isak. That definitely I'm not going to do that. Absolutely not. And I've not even told you the other reasons. The fact that Gyokeres has been begging to join us, the fact that Gyokeres has scored 100 goals the last 2 years, get me Gyokeres. And Gyokeres is very good at creativity as well and all that. He's gotten numerous assists as well. That is my opinion. Maybe some of you would prefer Isak still. I don't know. I think there was an update from Sami Mokbel as well, if I'm not wrong. I don't know if I saved it. Yeah, there was. So Sami Mokbel says Arsenal have been previously credited with an interest in Alexander Isak and had the budget. However, they have since turned their attention to Viktor Gykeres and are close to finalizing a deal. So what can you do? We've already gone for Gykeres. And then I've also seen someone saying, maybe Isak didn't really want to join Arsenal. Some people have been saying, why did you wait for this long until Liverpool wanted him? That's when he said, because Arsenal have wanted Isak for many years, but he's never really said he wants to leave Newcastle. But now that Liverpool have said they want him, he said he wants to leave Newcastle. So does that mean he wants to join Liverpool and not Arsenal? Potentially. So again, if you say right now, forget about Gyökeres and go for Isak, and then he chooses Liverpool, you're in big trouble. If you don't get Gyökeres and Liverpool get Isak, and then you don't have a striker, that is quadruple trouble than what we were before. Then at that point, you're not going to be winning that league. So go and get for me this guy. Go and get for me Eze right now. Go and finalize that Gyökeres deal right now. If you're being told we have enough money to pay for Isak, then that means we have enough money to also get a winger. So go and get me a winger, go and get me Eze, go and get me Gyökeres, and let's wait for Man United. Win your games, forget about Liverpool and Man City. They're going to be up there, but win your games and make sure you don't lose to them when you play them. So that is what I'm looking. That is how I'm looking at it. But I'll come to you guys' opinions and see what you're saying. Now, I do want Eze, and it looks like Eze has already confirmed that he's going to join Arsenal, surprisingly. Now, this is what Eze has had to say today, or not today, but recently. Graham Bailey says that Eberechi Eze has told friends that he's going to join Arsenal this summer. I love to hear those kind of things. I absolutely love to hear those kind of things. TBR Football understands Arsenal have now held discussions with Crystal Palace and the player about a move. Hell yes, that is what I like to hear. We need creativity. We need creativity in this team. Now, that could just be, people could just be like, yeah, that is not real news or whatever. But if you remember with Gyokeres, this is what we were told about Gyokeres 2 months ago. Gyokeres joined a friend's podcast, one of his teammates, and his friend finished that podcast by telling him, Victor, make sure to text me when you join Arsenal. That was 2 months ago. That was the point where we were talking about Sesko. We are going to sign Sesko. It's not going to be Gyokeres. And Gyokeres did not say, you don't laugh it off or anything. He said, okay, I'm going to text you. So at that point, his friends knew that he was going to join Arsenal. And lo and behold, Gyökeres has become an Arsenal player 2 months later. So with that, maybe it's the same with Eze. Maybe Eze has actually told his friends that he's going to join Arsenal just like Gyökeres did, and it's actually going to happen. Maybe they know something that we don't know. Maybe Bata has held discussions. As they've said here, Arsenal have now held discussions with Crystal Palace and the player about a move. So that is great. We were told that after the Gyökeres deal, we've had a lot to do, to be honest. Andrea Bata's had a lot to do over the last 1 month. And remember, in June, we didn't really do anything apart from the Gabriel new signing. I think the Luis Kelly was there as well. But heading into July, we had not really signed anyone. So we needed to complete the Zubimendi deal. We needed to, I don't think at that point it had really been linked to Madueke, but maybe we had mentions of Madueke, but we needed to finalize Madueke. We needed to finalize Mosquera. We needed to finalize the Gyökeres deal, or Sesko at that point. It was one of them. We needed to give Luis Kelly a new contract. We needed to give Noni a new contract. And we needed to give, who am I forgetting? The discussions with Saka as well and Saliba. So there was a lot to do. And we've not really sold anyone up to that point. So there was a lot to do. So we've done a lot of those already, and it's only July 24th. So after doing all of that, we now have free space now to work on deals for a player like Eze, who wants to join Arsenal. Now, Liverpool also wanted Eze. Now, that it would be a problem. I've said it's fine if Isak joins there, you just win your games. Just make sure you get Eze, make sure you get Gyökeres and all that. But if Isak and Eze both go to Liverpool, it'll be a little bit scary. At that point, it'll be a little bit scary. So you make sure you get Eze, Premier League experienced player. He's going to help you in the 10 position. He's going to help you in the 8 position. He's going to help you in the winger position. If you watch yesterday's game once again, everything was on the right side. In the first half, it was Noni, it was Saka right side. Second half, everything was going through Odegaard on that right side. We were passing every single ball to Odegaard. Odegaard was the only person who was doing everything in that second half. Shooting, creating, getting the ball, passing it around. When we crossed the ball, it was landing on Odegaard. Everything was just on the right side. Trossard did a little bit on the left side, but you can tell our left side is a bit blunt. So we need to improve our left side, whether it's in terms of sometimes playing Calafiori and asking him to overlap, whether sometimes it's to, ask Rice to push forward a little bit on the left side, whether it's asking Gyökeres to drift to the left side a little bit as well, whether it's asking, Martinelli and Eze to play together. And maybe Martinelli becomes a better player when Eze is there. Maybe Martinelli becomes a better player when Calafiori plays behind him. They're going to rotate with Luis Kelly. Luis Kelly is very good, but Calafiori overlaps Luis Kelly. Doesn't really overlap, so maybe becomes a better player if he has Calafiori and Eze there in one particular game. Maybe that is the case, and maybe he goes in behind, and when Nørgaard is in the box, maybe Martinelli puts in a cross and he gets several assists. So Martinelli did not play well yesterday, but he still got like 2 crosses into the box, but there was no one there to score. So if he can do that and Gyökeres is there, then that is great. And I think I saw a stat about Gyökeres by there that I've never mentioned. I think it was from Statsman Dave. I think they said from dribbles, Gyökeres has created the most chances from dribbles last season. He's a striker. He created the most chances from dribbles last season. I think it is in Portugal or out of all the strikers. I saw something like that yesterday. If that is the case, Gyökeres is also, he gets a lot of assists. So that is very exciting as well that I've never mentioned about Gyökeres. He creates a lot of chances for his teammates. That is fantastic. Maybe again with Gyökeres there, maybe players like Martinelli improve as well in their game. So Eze, just get Eze, man. If you have Eze there and you have Odegaard there and you have Noni the way he played yesterday, and you have the other youngster options like, Max Daumann, and there's still players like Saka there, and there's still players like Noni, and I mean, that's exciting. So we've held discussions about the player moving to Arsenal. Now, the player wants to join Arsenal. He was a former Arsenal player. Crystal Palace were demoted from the Europa League, so maybe that has kind of helped us in this situation trying to get Eze. Crystal Palace and they usually take time to sell players, but they never really say no, because they sold Zaha, they sold Olise recently. They never really said no. They could easily sell Gehi as well. So they're a team that can sell, but they want 68 million. But Arsenal are not going to pay that 68 million. So that is where negotiations is going to come in. Are we going to offer them a player once again? Are we going to try and offer them, a Reece Nelson maybe? Are we going to try and offer them a Fabio Vieira maybe? Are we going to still offer them Josh Nichols? Are they going to accept that? How much more money are we going to pay after that? We were also told that they wanted to Trossard a couple of weeks ago in exchange for Eze. We now wait and see. So I think personally think he's worth that money. He's right in his prime right now, around 27 years of age. So if you get Eze, man, that will allow us to play so many different ways. He's very good in terms of counter-attacking, very good in terms of transitioning. All of a sudden, if you have Eze and Madueke there, because Madueke has the pace and to transition as well, all of a sudden it will be counter-attacking quicker than what we've been doing before. So, and Eze can pick out the pass and Odegaard can pick out the pass. Eze, most importantly, can shoot the ball from outside the box. He can cut into his right foot and shoot the ball. Now, Martinelli doesn't do that. I've never seen Martinelli cut into his right foot and shoot the ball. So I don't want Martinelli to be sold. I want Martinelli to stay. Martinelli can do other things in the team. But in terms of, what Eze does is very different from what Martinelli does. Martinelli will give you the space in behind. He'll go past players and put in those crosses. He might score a few goals here and there as well. He does score goals. I mean, last season was not great in terms of scoring goals for Martinelli, but we've seen previously got 15 goals in a season. So he can score goals if, gets his act together. So if he gets the chances created to him, and Gyökeres will create space for players like Rice and Odegaard and Martinelli, maybe they get more chances. So that would be exciting if you get Eze. Now, yesterday, Fabrizio confirmed that Arsenal remain interested in adding an attacking player with the budget. Eberechi Eze is the favorite for that creative position. So again, that is fantastic. We were told that we also wanted Xavi Simons. But we were told that Eze is the first option. So if Eze didn't work, then we'd go for Xavi Simons. But at the moment, it's looking like Xavi Simons will be a Chelsea player. So we need to focus on getting the deal over the line for Eberechi Eze, former Arsenal player. That is great. That is what I want. Get Eze, get Gyokeres. If you can get another wing after that, that is absolutely fine. Again, if you can afford Isak after that, go for it. I'm not saying don't go for Isak. I am saying do not try and say no to Gyokeres. You can now go for Isak. Forget about Gyokeres. No. But if you have the money to go for all of them, go for it. This is what Matt Law said today. Arsenal want to advance towards 200 million plus by signing Viktor Gykeres and may yet bid for Eberechi Eze. So we could have a transfer where Arsenal spend more than 300 million and Liverpool spend more than 400 million. That's a lot of money. And I'm sure Man City will try and add a defender or something, maybe a Rodrygo at the end of the transfer window. The competition is definitely going to be very high. So you're going to need to win your games. Hopefully you can keep players fit. We need to getting Gyökeres alone is not enough. At that point, it's not enough because now you're at that point, you look at the other teams, what they're doing. You need more. You need more than Gyökeres. You need more players like Eze there, and I want to see me in an Arsenal shirt like this. This is what I want to see as well. So let's see how long it will take to get this deal done. Let's see. Is there any news I've not gone through? I don't know if there's any more. Let me just confirm. No. So that was the latest on Eze and also on Isak, also on Gyokeres. So the question is, I guess I'll put a poll and ask you guys whether you would try and bid for Isak as well. That would be interesting. But Gyokeres finalizing his move very, very soon. Let's see. Joel, how are you? He says, thanks for your everyday work. Rather be blessed. I'm still in the party until medicals for Victor are over. They're going to be over tomorrow. Then I will pray God to answer my prayers for Eze issue. Hopefully that Eze deal is sorted out very soon as well. Let's see. How are you doing, Ake? Thank you for being here as always. I appreciate it. We need to. So I put a poll in the chat. If you're watching in a different platform and not YouTube, the question for today, I actually have a lot of questions. So let me do the first one first. How many more signings do you think we need after Gyökeres? So after Gyökeres, that is 6 signings. How many more do you think we need to compete for that league title and for that Champions League and all that? Ladish says we need 2 more signings. Only 1 signing, and it's Eze says Angore. Still need to cover for Odegaard and left winger. After Victor, we need 4 signings, 4 more signings. So 10. Whew. Imagine signing 10 players in 1 transfer window. That's interesting. So which positions are those, Amy Gold? So I'm assuming Eze is one of them. Which are the other 3 positions that you're going to sign? So if we sign 4 more players, we're definitely going to sell a lot as well. We're not going to sign 10 players and keep all of those players. They're going to be like at least 10 more going. Cookie says expect Mosquera at 5 p.m. So that is in 30 minutes. After Mosquera and Gyokeres, I would like 1 or 2 more. If Trossard and Gabi both stay, we only need 1. If 1 leaves, we need 2 for me. Let me read that again, Cookie. I've read that so quickly. By the way, if Mosquera is announced, you're going to go live again. After Mosquera and Gyokeres, I would like 1 or 2 more. If Trossard and Gabi both stay, we only need 1. And then if 1 leaves, we need 2 for me. So Okay, if both of them stay, then I'm guessing you're just going to get Eze. But if both of them leave, you're going to get two. Oh, yeah, of course. If definitely you cannot sell both Trossard and Martinelli. That is too much. You cannot sell both of them. That is too much. We don't have enough time to get all of those signings through the door. Unless Bata is, an absolute genius and you can get all of those other players, then that would be great. Bata must tie down Saliba to a new contract. Yeah, the discussions for that one is going on for him and Saka. So I would try and get Saka done and Saliba done as soon as possible. Vera says, thank you, bro, for the program. We are so grateful what you're doing. Thank you for watching. But are we going to go for Eze? Yep, we've just discussed Eze. How are you, Lamine? Gyökeres will play against Newcastle on Sunday. I don't personally think so, Tamina, because he's not been training. I mean, he's been doing individual training, but I mean, today is Thursday. Today I have the date correct. Yesterday I said it was Tuesday, it was Wednesday. Today is Thursday. Today is Thursday. So the game is being played on Sunday. He's going to do his medical on Friday. There's still a 16-hour journey to Singapore. Jet lag and all that. I don't think he's going to play against Newcastle. If Gyökeres is asked to play against Newcastle, he's a machine. That's too early. He's just going to be to have landed, no training, nothing. Frederick says, I'm getting you live from Uganda. You want at least 2 more signings at left winger and a midfielder or a player that can play both positions, especially like Eze's character. I really hope, by the way, Madueke will be a good signing. If Madueke comes to us and becomes a good player, he will really help us in terms of... I still need what you're saying, Frederick. I still need us to get a wing and a midfield as well, as is that midfielder. But if Madueke can come to us and do well for us as well, it will really help us, man. Those things will really help us. All those deals will really help us in terms of Saka getting rest, having something different on the left wing, having something different next to Odegaard and all that. RK says, please subscribe and smash the like button. Thank you, RK. John says, hi, Glenn. I'm so much optimistic that Arsenal will win the Champions League this season. Hopefully we can. I don't think I've ever confidently said they're going to win the Champions League because we've never really won it. I'm hoping for the Premier League fast, though. If you can win the Champions League, man, I'd be very over the moon. I think Gyökeres will be announced in an on-pitch presentation on Sunday before kickoff. That is possible, yeah. But him being played on Sunday, I don't think it's possible. But getting announced, I can see it. Man United usually do that with their signings. They usually, I think Varane and all of those guys, people at Man United usually announce them on the pitch. I don't think so, Kolapo. Gyökeres is better than Isak, but Isak is a good striker. Both of them are really good strikers, but I've always preferred Gyökeres since last year, so... I just need Arsenal to sign a shape winger. We got to beat Liverpool home and away. Says, but if you beat Liverpool home and away, you're giving yourself a very good chance of winning the Premier League. Now, I don't put that expectation in my mind. I'm just hoping they don't beat us. So if you can get 1 win and a draw, that is fantastic. Let's go for Sesko and Eze. We are good to go. Sesko, no. Sesko is like 90 million. Leipzig, that is more... Like working with Sporting has been difficult. Working with if you're going for Sesko, you might as well try and sign Isak as well. Then, so Sesko, I don't think Sesko really wanted to join Arsenal as well. So that is always a problem too. Let's sell off Jesus and go for Isak. Jesus is not going to be sold though. Who's going to buy him? He's currently injured until like December. There's no one who's going to buy him. So that's the thing. Tomiyasu was let go for free. So unless you're cancelling Jesus's contract and letting him go for free and paying him like 4 million before he goes, it's just not worth it. So yeah, you're not going to sell Jesus to get Isak. Isak is 150 million and Jesus right now is currently injured. You're not going to get more than 10 million for him. So you rather just keep Jesus and go for Isak. Hi, Glenn. Thanks for the update. What's next after the Gyökeres signing? Eze. Yeah, I've given the update on Eze. Watching from Lagos. Thank you. Stanislas says Gyökeres loves the team and he wants to play for the badge. That's another very key point. Stanislas, the player wants to play for Arsenal. We're not sure if Sesko and Isak want to play for Arsenal. So it's a bit concerning. Maybe Isak saw Arsenal signing a strike and Liverpool signing a strike, and then he got concerned because he was like, those are the 2 teams that wanted me, and now they've signed strikers I want to go. I can't see any other team signing Isak, though. I've seen Fabrizio just say that Chelsea do not have enough money for Isak. He's not going to go to Saudi Arabia right now. I don't think Real Madrid are going to go for him. Maybe a PSG. PSG don't really have an out-and-out striker. They have Ramos, but they could easily sell him. They could easily have Dembele on either wing and then Bakola or Due in one of the wings. And then they can just have Isak up front. So if PSG really wants someone like an Isak, they can actually get him. Especially if Liverpool are not able to get him and Arsenal are not able to get him, that is an opportunity for Isak. It's weird though, because Newcastle is in the Champions League. Yeah, but Newcastle, this transfer into Newcastle it's been going really bad. A lot of players have rejected Newcastle, and they still talk about Arsenal going for Gordon from them as well. Eze, then I'm good to go 10 out of 10 transfer window. Yeah, Martin, that would be an unbelievable transfer window. Henry says it's madness. Arsenal cannot spend more than 100 million money on a forward after Viktor. I mean, Sammy Mokbel has said that, is it Sammy Mokbel? I keep on confusing. One of them has just said that Arsenal have enough budget to actually go for Isak. But again, if you have enough budget to go for Isak, I'd rather use that money to get a winger and Eze. That is what I would do. Rodrygo may be expensive for us. I would suggest Eze and Leao. Leao was busy talking to Declan Rice yesterday and the other Arsenal players. I don't know what they were telling him. Going for Isak now doesn't count in the footballing sense, says Lias. Getting Eze and one more wing and no team stands a chance against us. That is how I see it as well. Just do your job. Forget about what the other teams are doing. Sign the players that you need. Let's see. Time to focus on Eze now, says Charles. Good afternoon from Cape Verde, says Lekan. I don't think we've had anyone from Cape Verde all this time. Thank you for watching. We really need him at the Emirates, says Moses. From the AC Milan match, Martinelli may not fully help the team. Why not make a swap with AC Milan for Leao? It depends if they want him as well. I mean, again, if you watch yesterday's game, I don't think Leao really impressed me that much either, but I know Leao is a very, very good player in terms of the winger position. For me, I was not really looking to replace players. Why not just bring Leao and keep Martinelli as well? That is how I'm looking at it. Have many options to use. Are you scared if Eze going to Liverpool? I mean, if they get Isak and they get Eze, then there's a problem there. But if they get Isak and we get Eze and Gyökeres and try and get a winger, just focus on yourself. Forget Liverpool are going to win more games. Just win your games as well. We wouldn't if you can beat Everton at home and beat Fulham at home and beat Aston Villa at home, you wouldn't really need to worry about Liverpool. Just need to win your games, and then you see how it's going by January. If Liverpool are winning all the games, then you might need more after that. I don't know. Sign Eze will be 10 out of 10, says George. We need to bring Eze, says Henry. Good evening to you, Musa. Thank you for always commenting. I'm doing well. Elias says forget Simmons and Rodrygo as is Premier League proven and is kind of the caliber of players that we need for Gyökeres to really excel in the league. The Swede doesn't need players around him struggling to acclimatize or doing too much adaptivity here and there. Thank you for the comment. Elias, watching from Kenya, says Joseph, thank you. I prefer Arsenal should not sell any player so that to have a big competition. I would prefer that as well. But it depends. If we were told that we need to sell players to get an Eze through the door, then I'd be okay with it. But as of now, I'm not really begging for Martinelli to be sold, or Trossard to be sold, or Kivio to be sold. Especially Kivio, no. The Kivio should not go anywhere. Do not want Kivio to be sold. And now, especially because Gabriel is still injured, no, you cannot sell Kivio from that team. And the pass that he made yesterday, you cannot sell him, not at all. And hopefully Calafari can stay fit. For Trossard and Zinchenko and Martinelli, I'd be trying to keep Martinelli though as well. It's still age-wise, unless we're getting 70 million plus. Again, no. We shouldn't rush him, says Ladish. I guess you're talking about Gyökeres. We need 2 more signings, says Joseph. As is the man now, says Langford. Thank you for all the comments, guys. I appreciate this. So many. Nathan says they don't see how the 2 Swedish strikers are going to play for Arsenal. I mean, Liverpool have just signed Ekitike, so there's a way you can play 2 of them. Isak has played as a winger for Newcastle before when Wilson was playing up front. It's so much money, though. It's so much money. If it's possible, it's crazy, but it's so much money. But yeah, it doesn't make sense, especially if you don't have any creative players. Sort out the creativity first. That is what I'd be doing. Now, if you have Gyökeres there, I don't mind having someone like a Watkins as a backup. That is the thing. The thing I had a problem with is not getting Gyökeres and not getting Isak and then getting Watkins as your main striker. I'm not happy with that. But if you have Gyökeres there, then you can always go for Watkins as a backup. If you can't afford Isak, I have no problem with that. If we can afford Watkins as a backup, go for it. So getting Gykeres through the door makes a lot of difference, in my opinion, in terms of being desperate to get players like Isak. Just win your games. If you sell Martinelli and buy Eze and Leao from AC Milan, I'll be super excited. Buy Eze and Leao and sell Martinelli. How much are you selling Martinelli for, Hassan? If Zinchenko stays, I should try him in midfield. I think I saw someone asking him yesterday. I don't know if it was. I don't know. I think it was Cecil from FTV. I think I asked Zinchenko such a question. Do you prefer playing midfield? And then Zinchenko just laughed. Zinchenko is a better midfielder than a defender. That is true. At the moment, we have so many midfielders, though, Shelley. We have we already Nørgaard is not going to be starting games already, or Zubimendi, one of them is going to be on the bench. Rice and Merino is probably going to be on the bench as well. And then there's, if Noni is staying, Odegaard is there. If we sign players like Eze, I don't know how many games Zinchenko is going to get. But again, I'm not waking up thinking we have to sell Zinchenko. No, if you can keep all of those players and have 25, 26 players, like Chelsea have like 60 players in their team, go for it. If we can afford to rest as many players as we can, that is what I'm concerned about. Please, did Viktor complete his medical? Tomorrow, Solomon. It's on screen from Fabrizio. As there's the last tale in the conference says, Daniel, Beatty says it's now time for Arsenal to win trophies. Clubs are going to start tearing to play against Arsenal. Eze will be the last to be signed. Beatty from Uganda. Thank you for watching. Good job from Nigeria, says Thomas. So just focus on our deals, try and get Eze after this. And if you have enough money to also go for a winger, go for it. That is what we need. So there's already other videos posted. We discussed Mosquera, Gyokeres, Eze, and all that. So let me end it there. I think Mosquera could be announced very soon. If he's announced, you're going to come back live again. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch up with you guys on